Hey everyone, how are you? It's Thursday and it's been a while, and I feel like I always start most of my videos saying that. That's okay. It's been busy, very busy, which is great. Busy's good, as long as you're taking care of yourself, and I can say that I have been doing so. I really have been getting a lot of alerts, and some people may think this is really kind of wacky stuff here, but I'm going to start with this part about if you pay attention to messages. By the way, I've got Dora in the back, so if you have children, it's totally children safe. And I may have a visitor once in a while pop up, but that's okay. So when you're ignoring messages, things can get louder or more noticeable to a point where they might irritate you. For me, it doesn't get irritating anymore because I'm open to those kind of messages. So what I'm talking about is, do you ever see 1111, 222, 333, 555, just repetitive numbers like 1131? Just, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Give me a thumbs up if you're here. Even if you're catching the replay, give me a thumbs up. That's okay. We always end up interacting afterwards anyway, so that's fine. And then a repetitive animal, for example, a blue jay that never flies to the location that it's been flying. And it's kind of been giving me a little wake-up call. And then I realized, and I won't go too crazy into that because that's a whole nother story, but what the main point about all this is that you often get that comment, and I will get to my point with that, I promise. I'll come back to it. So stay tuned with that part. You get people that tell you, listen to your gut. Just listen to your gut. Just listen to your gut. You know, your gut. Listen to your gut. Okay, well, that can get really repetitively annoying to listen to, because what does that even mean? Listen to your gut. I can kind of understand, well, I do understand now, but before, when somebody would say that, that would just like set me off, because it was like, what does that even mean? Listen to your gut. My gut doesn't talk. But I get what they are saying now, and a lot of that comes from all these outside messages as well. And the other thing that's been helping me kind of recognize what they are talking about is, for those who know me, I work with horses, and I've worked with horses my whole life. And if you know a little bit about my background or my story, you would know that I actually was blessed in many ways to be able to work with horses to where they ended up really kind of saving me. And that, if we can take the horses, for instance, they talk about fight, flight, or freeze, how they react to your stimuli. So if you look at that, for example, and you consider how a horse reacts, and you get that like, oh, this doesn't feel right feeling, or, you know, you're having a really good time, like let's say I'm brushing the horse down and I've had a really good workout with them and we're just hanging out and I just feel really good, and you just get that sense of like, this is the right place. That, my friends, is your inner wisdom. So there's that. For all the mamas out there, maybe this will help you relate a little bit better. When something's happening with you and your child, and you get that feeling of like, oh, that doesn't seem right, and I don't want that to happen, I don't want that to be, you sort of want to embrace them and save them. That's okay, except you need them to learn for themselves as well. So why not take that experience and make small changes to create the safety, but allow them to learn for themselves in a safe way. Saying that, I want you to come back to that feeling of where like, ooh, that doesn't look right. That is your inner wisdom. Now, where's my point and where the hell am I going with this? I want you to look at this and go, okay, so here's an example of Jessica just explained how she gets that inner feeling of like, oh, that doesn't feel right, I should do this, or how I just know how to handle my horses and change what we're doing for my safety, for their safety, or to get the lesson across, whatever it is. I get that inner wisdom, that inner feeling. I got my sound on my computer. You get that feeling, and that feeling and the feeling I just mentioned about your children, that is that inner wisdom that I'm asking you to relate to what people are saying, listen to your gut. And where am I going with this is, we'll talk a little bit about fear. Fear is that crazy feeling of, you know, let's just forget about that part for a second. Fear shuts us down. It can paralyze us. It can change absolutely everything that's going on around us. It can literally stop us from progressing and growing in our world. And when people tell you listen to your gut, that trigger reaction of like, what are you even talking about, is fear. Things like we get in our head and we start to talk too much to ourselves. We get that monkey chatter, and that crap that starts going on in our head starts to tell us this isn't the right thing to do. And we can think of a million friggin' reasons why you're not going to do that next step, why you're not going to take action in that, why you're not going to go visit that friend, or why you shouldn't go out today, or how lazy you're feeling, or how tired you're feeling, or whatever it is that's going on for you. That's fear speaking. And what you have to do is shut down that fear. And it doesn't, as much as people say you gotta get out of your head, I know how flippin' hard that is to get out of your head. And I respect and honor that. And that, when I work with my clients, I don't say run away from it or just stop what you're doing. You're fine. I really want you to honor how you're feeling, because you have reasons to feel that way. Whatever it is that's happened in the past, or past experiences, situations, events, whatever it is that have happened, have created that feeling to make you feel like this doesn't feel safe, it's do or die. Like, I don't know how to handle this, but like, I can't do this because this, blah, 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 blah. And the excuses start to pour out. So the reason I'm making this connection about the fear is that we end up not listening to our gut. We end up not listening to that inner wisdom. We get lost and unclear of the direction we want to go or how we want to feel, or just learn to relax, because we get so crowded up in fear. And when fear hits us, it shuts down that ability to listen to what really truly feels right. You may also hear people say, listen to your heart. That's also another way of saying listen to your gut. That is just meaning what feels right to you. We can't, people get stuck in the feelings of it to the point where they start to think, and that the monkey chatter starts. That is the part that we need to learn how to shut down. So we've got to figure out a way how to take that monkey chatter and go, okay, hang on, take a back seat. This doesn't make sense. That felt right. I'm going to do it. Because when you get lost in the thoughts, your brain takes over, you stop, you don't do anything. So this conversation could go on and on and on and on for quite some time. But my whole point of this is to just bring the awareness around the piece of what that inner wisdom is. It's not a woohoo weirdo kind of thing. It's literally what it is. Inner wisdom is what guides us to do the right thing for us. And even if you fail, people call it fail, but even if it doesn't work out the way that you expected it or how you would like it to have worked out, you have done it, and you get to decide, am I going to do it again, or am I going to try a different way to make this work differently, and maybe this will work for me this time. Or you just decide that, hey, that wasn't for me. But by listening to your inner wisdom and taking some action, you're going to start overseeing that fear. And you've got to oversee that fear, because if you don't, you will literally live in that paralysis of fear all the time. I like to call fear false evidence appearing real. You may have heard this before, but we literally will create events. We will create scenarios, things that haven't even happened, and we will make them so true in our mind that it will paralyze us. It will tell us that, hey, this isn't safe. I'm not going to do it. Or, hey, this new thing that I want to try, I've been thinking about it all the time. Well, how long have you been thinking about it? And then, have you done it? That's what I'm talking about, is you get too in your head and you can no longer listen to your inner wisdom. So that's why I gave you the story at the beginning about the horse part of it for me, because when I'm in those scenarios, I'm not thinking about myself. I'm thinking about being with the horse and keeping myself safe and having fun or doing my job, whatever it is. But in the process, I'm going to keep myself safe and I'm going to listen to myself to know what's right. But I'm doing it because the horse naturally makes us do that. And that's why I use my horses in my practice as well. The horse naturally does that for us because they can be a large, intimidating animal and it can push us to our limits. And you're going to listen to what feels right or wrong because you're going to keep yourself safe. But the same thing with when you're doing that for your children or your family. You're always looking to keep them safe and you're always looking for them to learn the experience and what feels right. You can respond to that differently. Usually a lot of it, if you've cleared a lot of your stuff, usually you can feel that inner wisdom of what seems right. But when you do it for yourself, we usually tend to shut down our inner wisdom by fear. So that is what I'm talking about listening to your gut. When people say that, if that's not the wordage you like to use, then somehow turn that baby around in your head and just recognize it as inner wisdom, because it's good stuff. It is how we live. And in order to get there, we got to clear all the clutter in our minds, and we've got to allow ourselves to just be and listen to what feels right. If you get that trigger response and you're like, ooh, that doesn't feel good, make sure you don't get lost in fear and you don't mistake it for excitement, because fear and excitement can feel very similar in your body. And what happens is you feel the excitement and then you start to panic and you clutter yourself with all the fear thoughts and all the fear-based stuff of all that evidence that you're proving yourself to be real starts to crush the excitement. So literally, it is a proven science that excitement in the body can feel very similar to how anxiety feels. And without evidence to say that, yes, this is actually excitement, or evidence that it's fear, without the evidence that it's excitement, and you haven't said, okay, I'm excited, then we tend to go straight to the fear, and it's like, oh, I must be fearful of this. I'm panicking. Oh, I can't do this. And then we shut down. That is what I'm talking about here. So we need to make sure that we don't mistake excitement for fear. Come back to the excitement and go, I'm excited. Okay, let's say you are getting up in front of a group of people. You're probably feeling a little fearful, but who's to say that you're not super excited because you get to deliver whatever it is, this message that you're going to deliver to people? So that way you can tell yourself, I am excited. I really am excited. Maybe I'm a little scared, but I know once I get up there, I'm going to own that stage, that group, that workshop, this place, whatever it is that you're overcoming. And I'm going to deliver whatever it is I'm here to do, and I'm going to love it because I'm excited. And then you've convinced yourself you're excited. I just want you to understand the difference, because it's very important to know the difference between excitement and angst, fear, angst. So if you don't allow yourself to see the difference, we'll get caught up in that fear, and we're likely either going to get super sick, or we're going to shut ourselves down, or we're going to want to run the other way. We're not going to follow through with that, whatever it is we do. And it applies to absolutely every decision or action that you want to take. Usually when you go to make that big leap, you get that like feeling. It could be excitement. It likely is, because you're like, oh my God, like it's actually happening. And that actually happening feeling it's not fear-based. Yeah, okay, it might feel a little scary, but that's actually excitement. But our brains will automatically start to sabotage it as, this isn't going to work, or oh my God, I can't do this. What are people going to think of me? And all those fear-based thoughts start to come piling in. So recognize it as excitement, because it's likely just that. We complicate things. So this is why I brought up the thing about the horses again, because the horses, for example, are a really good way of where you will show up in the absolute best way that you can, and you will make decisions quite quickly, because you're not going to have the ability to think for like a week, a month, a year. You got to think pretty quick. You got to make a decision. So horses are great because they make you make a decision pretty friggin' quick. Because if you decide a week from now, you're probably not going to still be holding on to that horse. It's funny because I can see it happening. Like it's like the horse is going to look at you like, do something, or it's going to react and it's going to panic and it's going to be like, I'll do something then. So you don't really have a choice. You have to make a decision, and you got to decide what you're going to do in your next step. It's the exact same way. And that's why I relate to it. And it was kind of like an aha moment where I was like, well, duh, this is my inner wisdom talking. Like it happens every time. I'm learning to listen to those instincts. I'm learning to listen to that inner gut that, you know, my heart says do this, my gut says do this. Okay, and you just naturally do stuff when you're in that flow. And that is why when you get there and you can get rid of the fear-based stuff, things flow so nicely in your world, because you're not acting from fear, you're acting from love, which is coming from your inner wisdom. It's coming from inside you, not outside of you. So consider fear the outside bubble, consider the inner wisdom as your inside bubble, and listen to the excitement and the inner portion of you that wants so much better than that. This is how we're going to reach out and do things best for ourselves. This is how we're going to take action and move forward in our world, whether it's just starting on your journey to do something to help yourself, really wanting to step up and better yourself so you can be a better mom for your kids, maybe a dad for your kids. Maybe there's this project that you've been working on for forever. Maybe you've been wanting to declutter your bloody home and it's just sitting there doing nothing. And you're like, oh, I'm too tired. Oh, I'm too blah, blah, blah. Do you know how much energy you're wasting on that thought? A lot. So if you can go, you know what? I'm going to do this because if I clear my home, I know it's going to make me feel better. Well, that's your inner wisdom going, well, see, do it. And then usually once you do that thing, you feel flipping good about it. So just do it. Listen to what's going on inside of you, do something, and take action. That action step will tell you it's good or not for you. Generally, when you listen to your inner wisdom and you take action, it always works out with the best thing for you. An answer, clarity, confidence, a good feeling. Can't really lose on that. So I'm going to exit here. I feel like I've been blabbing a lot, and I've seen some people kind of come and go. I don't know if it's been useful to you or not, but if this video was useful for you, say something in the comments. Join me, whether you're catching me on the replay or you were in this video live. Say something in the comments. Share it to somebody who might need this message. But the whole point of this message was to explain the difference between, to raise awareness about what they're talking about inner gut. Listen to your inner gut. Because I know for me, when people used to say that, it used to trigger the hell out of me. It used to be like, ugh, shush up. What is inner gut? Like, listen to your gut? What a dumb statement. But it's so not. And that was just all the fear-based stuff, because basically they were asking me to listen to myself and to do what felt right to me. And that probably scared the shit out of me more than anything in the world, because I didn't know what the hell I wanted. So I can understand back then why it was like that. But yeah. All right, guys. Thanks so much if you caught the replay. Thanks for joining me. And I know this is hard to talk about, so that might be why you may not have said anything. But that's fine. Please share and like and send and do whatever you do to pass the word. And even if it's just a matter of having a conversation with somebody about this, to share the wisdom of how to listen to your inner wisdom, and how by not doing that and living in a fear-based place, that it will shut it down and you will stay stuck. So if you've been sitting on the edge of the fence about, do I decide whether or not I'm going to start doing something because I don't feel good about myself, I'm not feeling good about how things are in my world, I'm stuck, I don't know where to move forward, I don't know where to go, then you're starting to hear something inside of yourself that's saying you want more for you. And if you're hearing that message, don't ignore it, and don't allow fear to tell you that it's not the right time, I don't have time. It's always the right time, because you will never be ready. Fear will always tell you and prove to you that you're never ready. So, I'm only trying to motivate you, because it is an important time of year for everybody to just start making change. Start growing, grow with the seasons, enjoy it. And thank you for joining me, and I hope this was valuable to you. For now, I'll say goodbye, take care, happy Thursday.